anything can be an asset or liability.
Right.
It's your mindset for that
Exactly.
that determines what it's going to be. Because these products and these things, they're amoral. They don't have any ideas behind them. It's the user of them that will turn them into an asset or a liability.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's real good. All right, we live, man. Chapter 2, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We gonna go ahead and jump in this thing, man. Jay, how you feeling? You good to go?
Yeah, man, I'm good, man. I'm excited about chapter 2. Chapter 2 is my favorite chapter, by the way.
Yeah. I can see that. I gotta go through and see which one my favorite is, but I can see chapter 2 being the top one. So chapter 2 is about financial literacy. The whole chapter is basically him explaining you could probably sum up chapter 2 saying this: don't matter how much money you make, it's about how much money you keep. And you ain't gonna keep most of your money if you don't know about money. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what he's saying, you know what I mean, into it. So man,
it's funny, my stepdad used to tell me that. Like, but I know he ain't real Rich Dad Poor Dad. No, he used to tell me the same thing. He's like, it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. He would say it all the time. It's like he knew it intuitively.
Yeah. That's dope. Nah, that's dope. Yeah, I never even thought about that, bro. Like, I never even thought about that before. I just always thought it was about how you made a bunch, you know what I'm saying? You was good to go. But yeah, that's accurate though. So all right, let's jump off the bridge, man. Okay. Starting out, when he opens up the chapter. So let's see what we want to go to for the open. So he basically, so one thing in the beginning is, I know that he opens up and he's talking about just what we're saying. It's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. And so he opened up he talked about how him and his wife retired early, you know what I'm saying? And he was saying we retired early because our assets and the income off of our assets, you know, our cash flow was able to cover all our expenses. So the only thing we had to work on or focus on is making more, you know what I'm saying, off of the assets, which is a big opener, because I think that's kind of, you know, that's a real hot button, you know, retiring early, you know what I'm saying? You know, so he said how he did it, you know, off of there. And then he went into talking about, I think it was like back in like 1923 or something. He was saying how it was the meeting with some of
the 9 businessmen.
Yeah. The meeting with the 9 businessmen, and they, you know, richest, you know, in the US. And he was saying, you fast forward, you know, years later, and basically a lot of them ended bad. You know what I'm saying? Ended
all of them, pretty much.
Yeah, what do you say? Broke, begging. Didn't one of them kill themselves?
Got out of jail.
Like jail.
Got out of jail. Suicide.
Yeah.
Destitute. You know.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I had to look up Charles Schwab because I was like, I ain't giving him a damn quarter of mine if he died penniless. But nah, that was a different Charles Schwab though.
Yeah. Because
Charles Schwab, he talking about the Charles Schwab he talking about is the steel company. But I thought he was talking about the financial Charles Schwab. I was like, they need to shut that down immediately. If he died penniless, he died penniless.
Right.
That's not him though.
Yeah, a different one. Yeah, and so that you know what I'm saying? So so just within that, you know what I'm saying, he just starting it off, you know what I'm saying? He's starting it off real big or whatever, talking about, you know, okay, I know you're thinking about, you know, people about how I get rich, how I make money, how I get, you know, how I get it. And he like, that's actually not the most important thing, is how to get it, you know, it's how to keep it. You know what I mean? And I'll let you take it from there, because I know you have some dope notes about, you know, just understanding the wealth versus poverty mindset, because it can be generational, you know, in attaining and keeping.
All right, so let me bounce to the culture first, then I'm gonna come back.
For sure.
When you grow up in poverty, a dollar, your next dollar mean everything to you. So just focus on, man, I gotta get it, I gotta get it, I gotta get it, I gotta get it. Nobody told me that I had to have a plan for it once I do get it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Nobody told me how quickly I'm gonna lose it after I get it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that what he's saying is completely true. Matter of fact, I know it's completely true because I've been there. Right. I've focused my energy on getting a large sum of money, and when I got it, didn't have not the slightest idea what I'm gonna
do with it. Yeah.
And of course, it resulted in me not keeping it.
Right.
So it's what he's saying. I'm a real life example. Of what he's saying is true. But for the culture, just think about like I said in chapter 1, how much wrong we're doing to get this depreciating currency.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're doing all this wrong in our culture, you're in these streets, you in the strip club, you wherever you scamming boys, you doing whatever you doing, taking penitentiary chances, risking your life,
right,
can get killed over it, and you don't really have a plan for it. All you know is I need to get this bread.
Right.
But you don't end up keeping any of it. You got paying lawyers, bondsmen, all that. Like, you're doing all of this. We're running in circles, man. You're really in a rat race, but you're in a crime-infested rat race.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's, you know what I'm saying, that's a good point because it's all based on the foundation, right? Like the getting the money would be the house, you know what I mean? But it's the classic example of if you build a house on a poor foundation, it's gonna crumble anyway. You know what I mean? And so let's take a look. Let's just pause for a quick second, because man, as you saying what you're saying, I had no idea, you know what I'm saying, what none of that meant, man. And I feel like when you can get that, it's powerful. So before we move on, I just want to make sure it's clear, like what we're saying about getting money, you know, it's not about getting it, but it's about keeping it. So when you get money, so it's a lot of, you know, young ones coming up, they trying to get money, and then there's some cats, you know what I'm saying, then had a little money already. Some cats then lost big, you know, right? But the concept is, when you trying to get money, it's a saying, for every dollar you make, for every $1 you make, is 2 people trying to get it. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, so it's like when you do make money, whatever your hustle is, and you got 10 bands. All right, now that you got these 10 bands, what's gonna happen is your mind gonna start going, okay, what do I do with the 10 bands? On top of that, you got, if you doing it, if you know, on the up and up, you're gonna have the taxes that comes with it, you know what I'm saying? Okay. The fees that come with it if you put it in a bank, you know what I'm saying, inflation in product, deflation in the dollar. That's just nothing you can even avoid, right? And then you know, when you come from that hit a lick mentality, that's always was my mindset. You hit a lick, you know what I'm saying? You just keep hitting them. When you come from that mindset and you thinking about how you can flip and how you can, you know, double your money, then it's not necessarily the best way to go about it, right? So when you get that 10, by the time the things that you can't stop happen to it, the little you know, unplanned things, and then you just going, okay, how can I make more, right? How can I take this money and make more, versus how can I, you know, utilize this money, right, to build a fund to help me, you know what I'm saying, as I'm growing. Then it kind of gets thrown off or whatever. So you know, it's just really important to understand that part before, you know, we even go forward.
I just think that when you are focused on getting money, and those expenses hit you and you can't keep them, you're gonna realize how low your goal was. Mm-hmm. And you're gonna repeatedly raise it over and over and over. When I got my first 10 bands, I was like, because I remember when I was at 0 bands, right? I was like, man, if I could just get 1,000, man, I'm straight.
Right.
Got 1,000, then I'm like, man, if I could just get 5,000, I'm straight.
Mm-hmm.
When I got 5, I'm like, say, man, 10, bro, put me where I need to be.
Right.
And got 10 bands and realize how quick you can blow through 10 bands.
Exactly.
Now you like,
exactly.
I'm probably gonna need like 25 or 50, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that, because it's never gonna stop. You're in a rat race. And like Jay-Z say, you don't know my expenses. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I gotta get a bigger place. Like, so the expense is gonna chase the income too.
Right. Which leads to the perfect point, you know, is so we talked about the foundation. So it leads to the perfect point of knowing the difference between the asset and the liability. You know what I'm saying? Right. Knowing the difference between the asset and the liability. So getting the understanding. So, and this is part of the education. You know what I'm saying? Right. This whole chapter, knowing the asset and the liability. So what he's saying is, when you have money that come in, then you can either spend this money on assets or liabilities. And so, Jay, you can actually go ahead and break down. You'll do a probably better job than me to breaking down the asset versus liability.
All right. Well, let me back up a little bit because he started off the chapter talking about generational wealth. Mm-hmm. And like the first paragraph, it was so potent in there. He said, when, you know, they had fast forward, they had grew up a little bit. He said, Mike has taken over Rich Dad's empire and has done a great job. And now he's in turn raising his son to take over for him. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. So that was that generational wealth aspect. And the truth of the matter is, you're either going to pass down wealth or you're going to pass down poverty. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Both of them are generational.
Yeah, physically and mindset.
You wonder why it takes so long for people to come up? Because you're trying to fight something off in one generation that's been affecting your family for generations.
Facts.
So you're going to be almost superhuman if you can do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I mean, we attempted, of course, but it's generational. Like I was reading up on the other day, you can pass down housing to people. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you have project housing, right? In Houston, it's hood or whatever. You got your housing, right? Mm-hmm. So most people, like I know my kinfolk used to do that. They said, "Man, I'm gonna keep your housing, and then I'm gonna move somewhere else, and I'm gonna let you stay in this house, right?
So we can keep it in the family."
Literally, you're willing down government assistance, bro. Now, should you be willing down government assistance, or should you be willing down actual real estate property deed that you own? Right. Both of those mindset, girl, you better go get you some stamps. Girl, you better go get you this. Girl, you better go get you that. Like, you're gonna wheel down generational wealth or generational poverty. Powerful. You have to pick. Because either way it goes, it's gonna get pushed down.
Powerful. Yeah. But I don't think we think that. We just thinking we got something. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep that something, you know, and not necessarily thinking that this ain't the something we want. You know what I mean? Like, that should have been a step to get to the next level. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, the enemy does it to us all the time. The power of distraction. Right. To where I'm gonna give you good so you can cheat on great with good. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
Like, you'll be good. Take these groceries. I'm gonna fill up this little Lone Star card, you know, once a month. You're gonna be good.
Right.
You're not gonna be great though. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you this place you can live. It's on hood. It's on housing. You know, you'll be good.
Right.
You can't pass it along to your grandchildren though. You can't do this. You can't do that. It's not a deed attached to it. You can't get no equity line of credits on it. You can't do that. You're not gonna be great. You'll be good though.
And you know, the other thing too is it doesn't scale. You know what I'm saying? Like, whenever they building apps or new startups, they ask the question like, is this an idea that can scale? Meaning, if it worked for 10, can it work for 20? Can it work for 100? Can it work for 100,000? Because if it can keep scaling up, then the company can make more money, right? Now, even in a biblical standpoint, as we're doing ministry in life, we asking, is what we're doing something that can scale, right? So whatever, so we can go biblical times, right?
Well, you should be asking.
You should be asking that. You should be asking that question, right? If we're trying to reach the ends of earth, is this something that can only be done for 10 people, or is this something that we can scale, right? It should be able to scale so we can reach more people. So it goes the same way. Housing doesn't scale. You know what I'm saying? Like
Not at all.
You can't. Real estate scales. Owning one piece turns into 2, 3, 4, and so on. So then that's how, we go, like say, trading that good for the great. That's good, bro.
Yeah, 60% of wealth in this country is home equity. 60%.
And black people ownership in real estate has been declining over the years. You know what I'm saying? That it's been declining. And so, seeing numbers like that, it has to get our mind going and to figure out, what's that issue, because it's you can check for yourself and see that ownership, especially in real estate, is directly correlated with wealth, and wealth building. That's just commonly known. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'll say this and then you can move on. Because we have a history of Black and brown people getting wealth stolen from them.
Big facts.
And couple that on top of the fact that we get paid less than our white counterparts, our Asian counterparts, for the same particular job. If you are already 50 meters behind in a 100-meter dash, then the things that you do get, you need to hold on to them and you need to pass them to your children and to your grandchildren, so they won't be starting from zero. Maybe they'll only be 25 yards behind in a 100-yard dash. And eventually, over generations, at least your particular segment should catch up.
Right. Yeah, that's good. Because so I think that's a point we have to stop on, man, because the reason why the history, because we're talking about financial literacy, so all of this is applicable. So the reason why the history is so important, man, because it helps you understand. And once you can understand, then you can process and proceed. You feel me?
Right.
So Jay, we were, and then sometimes, speaking for myself, probably you too, you still have flashes of that frustration, you know what I'm saying, or feeling like, you could be or should be or want to be further. Well, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of our little homies, our cousins, our partners, a lot of them feel the same way. They upset, they angry, what old dog say in Minister Society, I don't think God care about us. If he did, why he got us living like this?
Why he leave us here?
Why he leave us like this? You know what I'm saying? So with that understanding the history can help us place that anger or those emotions. It can help us place it properly and then focus. So when we're talking about this ownership and not having housing and having a deed and stuff like that, we gotta think, like I say, this has been taken and robbed and stolen over years and years and years. So when we think about slavery and all that kind of stuff, people want to make it seem like it was 400, 500 years ago, bro. So when my mom was born, we were still fighting for the right to vote. They were still redlining.
Mine too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's still redlining with, lower income on this side and, richer people on this side. This is not my opinion. These are facts. Bro, that's when mama was born. We not talking about back in 1700. You know what I'm saying?
This ain't Chicken George now.
Yeah, you feel me? This is the previous generation. So when my eyes open up at 16, however, and I'm like, man, I'm out here, we doing bad. You know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to get it. Rich boys over here, broke boys over there. I ain't trying to be on this side, I'm trying to be on that side. How can I get it? And now I'm just a dog with it. I got to get it because I don't understand how this been systematically put in place over time. You know, I'm just mad and I'm trying to get it. But then once we can understand, then it's like, okay, my grandma was able to, my grandma grew up on, sharecropper, as a sharecropper. You know what I'm saying? Her people were sharecroppers. They ain't own nothing. My grandma eventually owned her house. You know what I'm saying? Now my mom, she'll be able to own her house and plus. Now then I should be able to continue to level that up. So, I may not be able to, like you say, I may not be able to shoot to the top with the superhuman, you know what I'm saying? But I could put Journey further along than I was.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's important.
Well, let me give you mine. So you gave me yours. Let me give you mine, then we can move on. So I'm from Third Ward, man. And I grew up that main intersection, Tilwester and Winburn by the Sally store I always tell you about.
Yeah.
Well, Tilwester is an interesting street in Third Ward because it cuts right through the middle of Third Ward. So Tilwester will take you from the CUNY Home Projects where I grew up all the way to North McGregor where the houses that look like Fresh Prince with the big old pillars.
Yeah.
So back in the day, I used to catch, I think it was the 29 TSU U of H shuttle. It was a Metro bus. And I used to catch it to go to elementary school. Now, here's the thing. On one end of this bus, that I'm getting on, it's CUNY Home Projects. If I pass up my stop and I just keep going, I will run into these huge mansion-style houses. I'm on the same street.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So that's when I started paying attention, like why I wasn't born down there. Instead of why was I born down here? That was my first inkling that it started before me.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And if you're going, you either gonna stop the book with you, or your children gonna have to deal with the same issues you did, and financially you didn't change anything in your family history.
Right. That's good, bro.
Yeah, that's the first inkling.
So that's a perfect segue into asset versus liability. So that's the crux of this chapter 2 is understanding. The key is understanding assets versus liabilities. You want to break it down, Jay?
I'm gonna keep it super simple, just like Robert said in the book.
Please do.
Assets make you money. Liabilities cost you money. Don't marry a liability because you have dreams of it being an asset. Like Robert said that assets are defined by numbers, not words.
That's good.
Right in the book. So
that's good.
Jesus said a tree that ain't producing needs to be chopped off. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Like I have done this before. I have acquired something and it was really a liability, but I had dreams of turning it into an asset. Bro.
Right. Speculation. That's a speculative investment. That's what they would call it. You speculating that it'll go up.
I think if I have any advice for a young person or anybody from our culture, if it's making money, it's an asset. If it's not making money, it's not. Don't think too hard about it.
That's good.
Because you're going to go deeper into a liability trying to convert it to an asset.
Right.
You know
That's good. So an example the ABC example of that is, you get your check or you get some money, you get $1,000. You know what I'm saying? Now, like you said, assets put money in, liabilities take out. You get that $1,000, and after everything's said and done, for you to eat and whatever, say you got $500 left.
Okay.
That $500, you have a choice to go and invest in an asset or a liability.
Correct.
Right. If you go and say, I'm gonna buy, I'm gonna go get a car, use my savings for the down payment, you know what I'm saying, to go get a car, and then, I can pay $500 a month on it because that's how much I have left over, $500 a month, on my car or whatever. Well, that's a liability, right? Because that car isn't gonna make you money. That car is a liability. Now, here's the thing. I use that because everybody need a car, right? That's okay, because you may need a car. You know what I'm saying?
It's a necessary liability.
It's a necessary liability, but it's a liability. You know what I'm saying? It's a liability.
Don't confuse it, though.
Don't confuse, because you have to put money out, right? Now, the opposite is, say you go, well, you know what? I'm good on the car. I already got a car. I'm good with whatever. I got this $500. You know what I'm saying? How can I invest in an asset, right? How can I invest into something that makes me money? I use this as an ABC kind of mentality. Say you wanted to start selling t-shirts. And so you put that $500 as an investment into your t-shirt company rolling, right? And if that t-shirt, so that $500 that you put into it, right, that can possibly start to yield more money over time, because you invested in equipment, you invested in a product, you invested in marketing and blah, blah, blah. So then as you start producing shirts, now the first month you make 200 off of it. The second month you make 300. Now you back even. And after that, it's just straight profit, right?
Right.
So that's the kind of basic, the basic level of like asset versus liability. Now, on a larger level, you got real estate, as it can be an asset. Real estate can be, a stock can be an asset, all of these different things. And then liabilities can go on and on. It could be a car. A liability can be,
house.
If you buying that's a good one. If you buying a house, that's also.
Oh, man, listen, bro. Your PlayStation 4 could be a liability, bro.
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
Because a liability is, by definition, is anything that you buy that's going to cost you more money after you already acquire it.
Right, and games.
With that being said, the PlayStation 4 is a liability.
Right.
Because after you acquire it, you're constantly acquiring games as well.
Right. And I think that for like the level that you starting with, like when you just getting out, you got to kind of look at it from a personal aspect of where are you in life? You know what I'm saying? And how can you shake, right? So if Jay get $1,000, how he might invest his may be different from me, may be different from my little homie that's 19. So you like, I ain't trying to get in the real estate or stock. You might be in the shoes. You know what I mean? So you may go get the breads or get whatever Jay as soon as they drop just to resell them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so now,
I know this is in your notes somewhere. I'm not sure where, but anything can be an asset or liability.
Right.
It's your mindset for that.
Exactly.
That determines what it's going to be. Because these products and these things, they're amoral. They don't have any ideas behind them. It's the user of them that will turn them into an asset or a liability.
That's good. Yeah. That's real good. Now, this is not completely off base, but because of what you said, I like that. Because so say we go back to the car example, right?
Right.
If you just getting your car to drive you around, the car is not making, even if the car is doing good things for you, that don't make it an asset unless by definition. But say you go get this car and then you start Ubering, you know what I'm saying, with the car, or something like that. Now in the future, according to Tesla, you know what I'm saying, by the time our kids grow up, they gonna have the fully automated, fully autonomous driving. You know what I'm saying? So you don't need a person in the car. So if you go buy a Tesla, you know what I'm saying, 10 years from now, then you can turn your Tesla into like a robo Uber. You feel me? And have it go out and work while you working, like this, some next level type stuff or whatever, turning a liability into an asset. But at the basis, that's exactly what Jay's saying. The example, you can go buy the J's and just wear them. Now they're a liability, because that's ain't no more. You gonna be buying cleaning spray or whatever else. It ain't putting no more money in your pocket. But you go get them, hold them, and flip them. Now you just purchase an asset. You know what I'm saying?
It's not that one pair of Jordans. It's not that one Gucci shirt. It's your fashion habit that's a
That's the
liability.
liability. Right.
Because that's going to keep it coming. That's going to keep money going, exiting out of your pocket.
Right.
So it's that particular habit that is.
That's the liability. Yeah, no, when you said that, I think this is really good. That's because the same way, what you saying that fashion habit is the liability. You can be an affiliate for Nike, right? So if you know what an affiliate is, it's basically when a company pays you to promote their product. So Nike, Reebok, all of these people have affiliate partnerships. And so if I go and I just buy Nike and I'm just wearing it, ain't nobody, that's cool. You gotta wear clothes. I ain't saying it. You just gotta understand when you writing down how much you paying for your clothes, that's in the expenses liability column. You know what I'm saying? But if you have a partnership with Nike, right? And I'm not saying like you got to be LeBron. I'm saying if you say you got social media following, or you a fashion person, so you stay posting on Instagram and people vibe with you, you can go apply for. You're an influencer, yeah. So you can go and apply for the affiliate program with Nike. You feel me? So now they go, okay, bet, yeah. Well, whenever somebody hits your link to buy products, you get a 15%, you know what I'm saying, cash back or 15% commission. Now, you know what I'm saying? You may be able to move your wardrobe to an asset. It's like you said, Jay, it's all in the mindset of how we think. But the problem is, if we start with, I'm finna get fresh, I'm finna be dripping, my boys can see me and they can hate me. You know what I'm saying? I want them to hate me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm dripping. You know what I'm saying? Love me and hate me, right? That mindset, you gonna get to the liability column. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, expeditiously. You're gonna get expeditiously. Yeah. Nah, it's important. It's an important skill.
Yeah.
The reason why you have to know the difference between an asset and a liability is because you can turn one into the other.
Facts.
You can get a company. People do it all the time. People acquire companies that are underwater,
mm-hmm.
and they turn them around back into valuable assets again.
Right.
Right. And then there's people who have good assets, and under their management, they become deficit and become liabilities. So anything can be either one. It's the mindset driven that's driving it that determines which one it's going to be.
Right.
Like your house can be an Airbnb. Yeah, anything. Software, apps, your phone, anything that you're using can be an asset or a liability.
Right. It just starts.
Your social media page, if it's making you money, it could be costing you money because you're spending too much time on it and you're not being productive. Mm-hmm. So your social media habit can be an asset or a liability.
Right. That's good, bro. And so assets, liability, I think we definitely, you know what I'm saying? Cause that's it though, man. I know, just how that once you start understanding it, cause like you said it in your notes, you said it, money follows the cash flow pattern in your head. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what you just said. Wherever you thinking it, that's where you gonna send it. So okay. Asset liability. Now, so as he moved on, and he spends a lot of time. He spends several pages breaking that down too. No doubt. So we talk about it so long because he got page after page after page. Just showing that he goes in a lot of more in-depth detail or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So you could grab the book. It's a link below, in the description to grab Rich Dad Poor Dad, and you can see all of the charts. The cash flow charts and income versus expenses, all that stuff. But so then he moves on and he says that the reason why a lot of us don't think like that, I didn't think like that for years, you know what I'm saying? He's like, it's one of the main reasons he points to is the education system. He talks about how it's antiquated, and it basically, it teaches you how to get the skills to go work, but it doesn't teach you what to do when you get the money from applying those skills. And so, Jay, I think that obviously, you can speak to that. Because he basically says this, and I push it to you, but because he's saying he's saying to do this stuff that I'm talking about, the stuff me and Jay talking about, stuff Robert's talking about in the book, he's like, you're going to look different. You're not going to look like everybody else. Most people not going to be doing that thing. And so it's a lot of fear that can come with that, and feeling like you are outsider because you're not doing what everybody else doing. But everybody else is only doing what they're doing because that's what they've just been taught, you know, over the years.
In another book, I don't know if it's Cash Flow Quadrant, or it might be Why Does A Students Work for C Students. By the way, we need to do that one too.
For sure.
There's a book called Why Does A Students Work for C Students, and B Students Work for the Government.
That's funny.
Yeah, man. So he's exactly right. Being from inside the education system, I try to change it a little bit, but he's exactly right. The education system produces soldiers and employees. Based on curriculum, based on standard core curriculum, it produces employees and soldiers. There is not a lot of free thinking that's rewarded. And if it is rewarded, it's rewarded probably on special projects per se, as opposed to everyday thinking.
Right.
Everyday free thinking. You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of people say there's one. This is one answer. This the answer. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, the answer is either A, B, C, or D. It's not multiple. You know what I'm saying? You can't use multiple ones. But in life, it's multiple.
Right.
In business, it's multiple. Like Target answer and Walmart answer not the same, but they both answering the question, how do we get products to consumers?
Exactly.
Like in life there are more than one answer.
It's good.
But because we've been through the school system, we think, oh, it's only one way. This is the only way. And you get boxed in and it kills your creativity. And you get stuck in on that path.
Right.
And if you're not going to have an entrepreneur spirit, you're not going to have a business spirit if you don't have creativity.
Right.
If you're programmed to look for a certain answer and you don't really hash out critical thinking skills, which is that's my main beef with the education system. It kills critical thinking skills.
Right.
I don't have to think critically. I can just remember this. I can just remember that. I don't have to think critically.
Right.
Well, in life you do.
Right.
In business you do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It was an investor talking on what was it? I think CNBC or MSNBC, one of those, MSNBC. It was an investor from China. And he was speaking. This was, very long story short, a while ago when the tariff war between the U.S. and China was popping.
Trade war.
You know, the trade war. You know, you can go look it up. But Trump was wanting them to pay higher tariffs for whatever reason, and so we was beefing. And so they were talking to this investor from China, and you know, for a while now, you know, the U.S. is the king. U.S. is we the big dogs. But China's been building and, approaching. And the investor said something. He said that they asked him basically, does he feel like China could, overtake the U.S. when it comes to technology? When it comes, because, that's where all the money is made. Out of the top 5 companies, what I always think is, Facebook,
at least
Google, at least, it's 4 of them, or the top globally, the top 5 grossing companies, 4 of them are like tech, social, and then Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway. You know what I'm saying? So he was asking, does he think the U.S. China can knock the U.S. off for its technology? And he said, it's a long while ago before that happened. He said the reason is, generally in the U.S., not necessarily in the school system, but he was saying generally in the U.S., there's a spirit of entrepreneurship and innovation, that is encouraged, but in China, that's not. You do what you're supposed to do. You learn when you're young what you're supposed to be good at, and you do that thing. So the heart of inspiration and out of the box thinking and creativity, that hasn't always been the main driving force. So while they'll kill it at producing a product and doing it for a lower cost, thinking of, 5, 6, 10 years down the line is not something that they've, been accustomed to doing, since they were young. This is him saying that, and so he was like, that's where it separates. And so I thought that was powerful, because here in our school systems, that's not the case, but it's so many outside factors that we have free access to that allows us to, kind of bust out of that, that box, that has allowed it.
That's why I think the school system is not going to ever change because of that, because of the things that are outside. There's so many nonprofits that will teach you financial literacy. So why would we put it in school? There's so many nonprofits that'll do this. This program will teach this software teach you that. This app will teach you that. So why would we change the whole education school system if they can get that outside help? Yeah. We'll just supplement them with this. Supplement them with that.
Exactly.
If we were to switch on a China-based or Singapore, shout out to Singapore map, because they got some of the best map in the world. But if we were to switch to their system, you're right, we would lose partial greatness in this country, because strain creates evolution. And because you have this strain, because I didn't grow up with it, I didn't get access to it, it creates that hunger to it. So in some aspects it's good, but for the overall majority, I feel as an education, we do need to overhaul some things about the
Agree, 100%. And it's a debate, but I believe it to be true based off of, my independent researches, talking through how we still are in the same school system that was created back in like the early 1900s or something like that to build factory workers. That's when everything, it was industry. So they wanted to teach you how to be on time, how to follow instructions, how to do what you're supposed to. And that's what you did. You graduated, you went, to work in a factory or some kind of setting like that. You wasn't no, entrepreneur. That wasn't even a word back then, because you had to have so much money and clout to get it popping. Where so now you just need your phone. You know what I'm saying? Your phone and an idea. So that's good. We keeping a good pace, man. So the last thing that he hits on in the chapter is mind blowing. I was talking to Jay yesterday, and I was telling him, about I didn't know this until I read the book, where he's explaining what wealth means, what wealth actually is. So the simple way to put it is, and you can correct me if you think it's a better way to say this, Jay, but the simplest way to put it is, wealth, you are wealthy when your income covers all of your expenses. Long as your income covers all of your expenses, you are wealthy. The way that he explains that is, the level of wealth is based on how long that can happen. So can your income cover your expenses for a month, 6 months, 1 year, 10 years? The longer your income can cover your expenses, the more wealthy you are. Is that accurate, Jay?
I will put the word passive in front of income.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good.
I will put the word passive in front of it, because in the book, he clearly says an asset is a source of income that is not active. Basically, I don't got to get up and go work for it to produce income.
Exactly.
So if you're going to base retirement off of this, if you're going to base your financial future off of this, it is determined of me not actively going up and actively working for a job for a salary for it. So if that's the case, and we all know it to be true, that's why real estate and stock become some of the main asset producing, income producing assets, because they're so easy to produce income without you actively being there.
Right.
So that's why you get these monster asset classes, because by definition, I'm gonna make money without me actively having to do something for it.
Right. So exactly that. So coming off of the liability and so that's the thing. Remember, coming off of the liability and asset talk, then he goes and says, now when you get your income and you build your asset column, once your asset column, meaning your real estate sites and stuff Jay's talking about, once your asset column is producing income or cash flow, without you having to do anything, once it's producing that enough to cover your expenses, now you're wealthy, and then it grows. So exactly, it has to be passive. It can't be you going and get a check. It got to be you sitting at the house and your stock are going up, your real estate rental income is coming in, your business that you have delegated all the tasks to, you know what I'm saying, is running. That's where it goes.
Yeah, it's a process, bro. He also equivalates assets to trees. Good. He says assets are like trees. You water them, and one day they grow so much to where they don't need you watering them anymore.
Good.
Right?
Good.
It's the perfect example. The perfect example, because while we're all in this hunt for getting up and getting it, you should be watering some type of asset, right? To where it's gonna replace you actively getting up to go to work.
Exactly.
The government say they found that in 401ks for the average person. You know what I'm saying? They say, okay, we're gonna make this vehicle for income-based, for stock-based assets, right? So the goal is, while in your working years, you're dropping money into the 401k. That's in their mind, that's watering the assets, right? And then when you get to a certain level, or when you get ready to retire, that tree should provide shade for you in terms of retirement, because it should be able to pay out because you watered it so long. Well, what the point Robert made in the book is, he says, bearing inflation, bearing any catastrophic change, we should be able to retire. If you do not develop your financial intelligence and you simply put money in your 401k, you are not watering the asset per se, which means you are, because it takes financial intelligence to water the asset. And if you don't actively do it yourself and you just pray to God that a fund manager gets it correct,
right,
you're at the mercy of the market.
Right.
You're at the mercy of the market. So because you wouldn't know what to do. And you're going to be one of those people that's mad at the government. Oh man, the stock market is down. Oh, this and oh, that down. Well, if you have financial intelligence, you know that wealth is not made or lost, it's simply transferred. So if the money is not in stocks right now, then it should be in another asset column. It might be in real estate, it might be in commodities, it might be in businesses. Like, if you learn your financial intelligence, how to chase the cycles of where the money is flowing, that's all you really need. It's just not in stocks at the moment. You know what I'm saying? That money might be flowing to commodities. So the more you water your mind, which is the greatest asset you'll ever have, the more you water your mind, the more you'll realize, oh, I really don't need all of that. I can just ride waves, because I know, okay, the money's not in stocks right now. Let me see, where is it? Oh, the real estate market is up. Oh, the commodities is at a certain point. So you can ride the wave. Wherever it's up, sell that and buy the low commodities, because when the cycle changes, the one that was low is going to go up.
Right.
Because all of them are intertwined. So that's why you need to develop your financial intelligence. And let me give you an example. So I don't want you to be like, Jay, what did you talk about? So I had a property. I bought a piece of land from an auction. And when I bought it, it was super cheap. It was like $2,300, right? So I ended up giving it to Southeast or whatever. So now you gave
it to the church.
Yeah. So now that land is stupid high, like 20 some thousand, 30-some thousand, right?
That's
For that
crazy.
same flat, right?
That's crazy.
Now, if you were trying to buy that now, good luck.
Man.
Because now that asset column, the real estate, that asset column has ballooned.
Right.
But what that means is another asset column is undervalued.
That's good,
so
bro.
You should be selling the ballooned asset column to free up capital to buy the undervalued one.
Man, that's
and
good.
Then ride the wave. That's all it really is. But that comes from financial intelligence.
Right. And bro, I'm not gonna even try to add because that was beautiful. All I'm gonna say is, if you like me, when I first started having these type of conversations with Jay, it sounds so big. It sounds so like how I don't know about realism. I don't know about stock. But once you just start, one foot after another, you read the book. Like, just read. Once you just read, don't even try to think, man, I don't know how to. Just read the book. Read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and by the time you get to the end, you gonna feel like you learn so much, know so much, and it's not as complicated as people may make it seem, or that you think it could be. Like he's talking about following the cycle. So that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. Well, that's the end of chapter 2 with, what I'm saying, a splash on the end. And so to recap, I think the biggest thing to take from it is understand get a financial education as your foundation, because it don't matter how much money you make, it's how much you keep. And if you have that financial education, then you can keep more of your money. Once you're able to keep more of your money because of your financial education, when you come to the option of purchasing more liabilities or more assets, you'll purchase more assets. As you continue to grow your financial education, watering, right? Like you said, watering your mind so you can water your assets. Those assets will start growing. The cash flow, the income that they produce passively, right, will start growing. Once that income reaches a point to where it covers your expenses passively, right, now you can consider by Robert's term, you can consider yourself wealthy, right? And so at that point, another tidbit is, he says, once you get that covered, you shouldn't go out and purchase any other liabilities. He talks about he wanted a new Porsche, but he didn't go buy the new Porsche until he grew his asset column enough to cover the expense. So if he was making of the Porsche, so whatever he was making, he said, okay, I need this much to get the Porsche. Once it got there, he got the Porsche, so he kept it in balance. You know what I'm saying? And so he kept it in balance. And so then, those 4 points are really that's really the summary of chapter 2. And it will, if you don't even read nothing else, it'll change your life, but not as much as if you read the entire book.
Let me tell you how chapter 2 came to life for me. When I got my tax office started, I think I told you this before, I was saving for a car. I had a vehicle, my slab was messed up, you know what I'm saying? Had a 99 DeVille, you know what I'm saying? It was messed up. So I was like, man, I'm tired of fixing on this car. I'm gonna save up to buy me a new vehicle, right? So I saved probably $6,000 or $7,000. It was a point in time where I had to catch the bus. I caught the bus for a couple of months. And like the most demoralizing thing ever is to have a vehicle and still have to catch the bus.
Yeah.
I wanted to hurry up and get this over with, bro.
Right.
But at the same time, I was reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I'm glad I was reading, because when Robert gave that example, it also says always buy an asset first before, and let that asset pay for your liability. Because the vehicle is obviously a liability because it keep breaking down, and I got to keep getting it fixed. I took Robert's advice. Instead of spending that $6,000-7,000 on a car, I used that to open my tax office.
Powerful.
Now, that was 12 years ago. Powerful. I still have that tax office. I don't know where that car is, bro. I'm too I'm 3-4 cars down the line.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that lack is. It's probably in some federal seizure lot. I don't know where it's at, bro.
Yeah. That's
but
powerful.
I still have the asset that bought my next vehicle.
And still generates income.
Mm-hmm.
That's it right there, bro. That's it.
Correct.
Man, that's chapter 2. Make sure you hit the links below to check out Rich Dad Poor Dad. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. If you still listening through this whole joint right here, man, shout out to you. You got to subscribe, like, turn the notification on. We're gonna be back with chapter 3, man. Appreciate y'all checking in.